I
Mm.
personally don't think he's super cute.
He's
So,
not.
like, he's just average. I'm like, "Okay, bro." But, like, you know how sometimes it's like, they're the cutest person in my town. Welcome back to another episode of The Single Standard, where dating shows meet grown woman realness. Dating shows might get the spotlight.
But here we set the standard.
My name is Maya. I am a soon to be employed again journalist based out of Atlanta, who loves reality TV and all of my menagerie of animals.
And I'm Autumn engineer based out of Chicago, dog mom with an obsession for romantic reality TV.
So we've been gone for a little bit. Um, Life has been lifing as it does. But how have you been? Just generally, we haven't really chatted in a while. So how are things?
I know, right? It's been good. I call this our extended spring break, right? We both
Yes,
took spring break just at different times and we're back together
perfect.
again. Yeah, so it's
Exactly. Perfect.
been bouncing around, got to go to Mexico, and finally, when I got back to Chicago, it was in the 50s, everything's in bloom, and I was like, "This is why I'm here. This is why I live here." How's it been on your end?
I love that. It's been pretty good. Mostly just been home, but like grinding, trying to figure out the work thing, and happy to report that as of Wednesday, I'm starting a new job. So, but we'll talk more about that later.
Yay.
Part of the reason why we started this podcast is because we are huge fans of Love Island season 7 and specifically Nick and Alandria. And so we like to do a Van Carthen moment of the week each week, something that they did that stood out to us that we thought was worth noting. So what's that for you this week, Autumn?
I'll say my Van Carthen moment of the month is
Mm,
we're in
yes.
Alandria. So I feel like we haven't hit it this hard since was it November Landria, October Landria? I don't know. We're in April, Landria. And I'll say the moment of the week for me was a collab between Baby Fat and Alandria. I was there for the first round of Life in the Fab Lane with Kamora Lee Simmons, and I watched the reboot of the show. I saw Baby Fat coming back to life, and I have the highest hopes for them. And I really said, if they could just get a collab with an up and coming young
The right
ingenue
person.
face, they could go somewhere. So
Yeah.
first I saw them do something with Angel Reese,
Yes.
and now they did a custom piece for Landria. It looks amazing, and it's a win-win for me. That was my moment of the week. How about
Yeah.
you?
I loved her outfit was, yeah, fire. And I
Fire.
loved the brown on her chocolate skin. It was just
Yes.
so good.
It was
Uh,
of the moment, and then I think of the brown too, it goes really well with, there's a lot of aesthetic for festivals, especially Coachella. Oh, wait, Coachella,
Coachella, Ochella.
right?
Um, yeah, so my Van Carthen moment also comes from Coachella. I just saw like a little clip online. So this wasn't one of the curated posts. It was like a little clip online that showed Alandria behind a bar making a drink, like mixing a drink and giving it to Nick. And it was just so cute and so buzzy. And I was just like, "Oh," because I think day one of Coachella, they each had obligations. And so they were doing their own thing. And of course, people were online like, why aren't they together? And blah, blah, blah. But, it seems like they've been together all day yesterday or today, or I don't know when those clips are coming from. But, hopefully this shuts them up.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure they're having a good time, but they're also working.
Exactly. It's like I'm like, they're working.
Right.
Um, so yes, we've been gone for a little while and we've missed recapping some things. So we're gonna go very quickly. Age of Attraction reunion show. Thoughts? What's your one big takeaway?
My one big takeaway was I was shocked to see Teresa and John not make it. I know Teresa, obviously was a bit bothered by the age gap, but I thought that love would have overcome things because we really saw so much passion in them fall in love. So I was disappointed that they didn't make it.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I think I would say because so we watched, like, the 3-hour extended version, and, um, I will say, like, I appreciate what's her name? Valley Joy, whatever Nick Vile's wife's name is. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate and Nick too, but, like, their messiness, right? Like, I appreciated that about them because it was giving real moments in a reunion show that we don't typically get, especially with these dating shows. So, I really enjoyed that, and then tied is that the fact that, Libby and Andrew are still together. Yikes.
For how long? Because if you recall, she still hadn't met his
She still
kids.
had the kids.
Right.
Exactly.
It's been a year.
Yeah. So, we have 2 new shows to discuss this week. First up is Love Overboard, which is airing on Hulu. We have watched the first 3 episodes because they released them all at once. Let me walk through the concept. So, the way it seems to be set up is sexy singles on a yacht. It's like half Love Island, half Below Deck. So, there are 16 people on the yacht. 4 couples are, upsiders, and 8 people are downsiders. The 4 couples, they get to stay at like, their guests in the luxury yacht, and they have food and drinks, and they sleep in these nice beds, and they're a couple. And then there are 8 people who are below deck who work as crew. They have to serve the couples that are on the upsiders and, um, sleep in these tiny bunk beds, and it's just a very, very different life. So and then each episode, they find when as soon as they find that there is a love triangle, essentially, whenever a love triangle emerges, they force the person to choose between the 2, and to choose between the 2, they have to walk the plank, and they are literally dropping the people who are dumped into the sea. And so I say all that to say, what are your thoughts on this concept?
I think it's got some meat on the bones. I don't necessarily like Hulu being the space for it because Hulu has commercials and I don't know, the way that they dropped all the episodes really close together, I think they could have worked on that. The commercial piece made me wanna sign up for a subscription, so
Right,
I didn't
right.
have to watch the commercials. It just messed me up. Um, but Gabby, the
Mhm.
hostess of the show, former bachelorette, she keeps it moving. I think the casting has been decent so far. There's nobody that I really love in the cast, but I would say that starting off, there's nobody that I absolutely hate either. But the concept keeps it messy. So I like it so far. I think I wanna see if moving forward they have more opportunity, like in Love Island, they had, uh, like, the challenges where they had to make out with each other, and because of that, people found connections with people they may not have originally thought. So I'd like to see something like that, bringing in, like, the Heartbreakers, um, concept of, like, somebody to throw it off.
Mhm. Yeah. And
What do you
so
think?
I was so for me, the concept is doing a lot, I'm not gonna lie. And
Yeah.
it does remind me of a lot of shows. I do think it's like another type of like dating show, maybe not Love Island because they are just so, kissing all the time. But like there's some other dating show and Below Deck put together. And it's like this Hunger Games thing because the only way that someone from Below Deck can get to stay in a nice bed and be, served is to break up a couple.
Okay.
And I feel like that leads to people just trying to get out of the crew quarters and upstairs, and it doesn't necessarily set them up to like build long lasting relationships.
I was gonna say another thing, I don't think their budget is big enough. So the dates that they have are super low budget dates. I was like, they just made that up. Like,
Yes.
the budget is $20 for the
I mean,
dates. Like, they spent all
what
the
was
money
it
on the
like?
yacht.
There was one that was, like, tantric yoga. I was like, "What is
Right,
happening?"
right.
Um, and so you said you're not in love with any of the, cast members yet, but is there anyone who annoys you and you're ready to see them go or they've already gone?
So, I don't know if I'm ready to see them go, but my standouts are the ones who annoy me.
Mm,
Got Bella,
mhm.
who just is a over the top personality. I hate to describe her as loud, but she is. And then you have James. He seems like a guy who like puts his foot in his mouth, doesn't know what to say. He was like, "Oh, I can't wait to have sex." Everybody's like, "Calm
Horny.
down. We don't know you." You don't start off saying those things out loud in front of the women who you might
First
potentially end up
impression, like,
right.
sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I like both of them as well for the same reasons. Um, Bella stressed me out early on because she was not someone who made it into a couple, so she's below deck, and she's just like, "I shouldn't have to serve people I think I'm sexier than," and, just, like, just so dramatic, so much crying,
She's
um,
drama. Yeah, for
but
sure.
Hmm?
I said she's drama for sure.
A lot of drama. But then on the other hand, I really came around on Bella in a later episode where she and Sade had this clash over girl code after knowing someone for a couple days, which is I think that segues into my next question. So there was this big issue of one of the girls talking to a guy who was in a couple. And what I hate about this is that they're both black women. And so Sade was in a couple and she's topside and Bella is downside. And the guy who Sade is with went over to Bella and started talking to her, which is what they're supposed to do. And Sade was very upset about that, said it was disrespectful, and like, she let it sit for a little bit, but then eventually confronted Bella about it, and that turned into, like, a whole thing. Um, so I guess what do you think about this idea of, like, having girl code with someone that you met a few days ago on a dating show?
Um, to adapt Love Island lingo to Love Overboard, it's early days.
Early days,
It's
early
early
days.
days for everybody. You don't know these people, you don't know these girls. You just can't I mean, there's people you wanna build solidarity with. You might be like, "Oh, she's a black woman, I'm a black woman." Not all skin folk are kinfolk. So, how about we just take a little time and, like, actually build relationships? You don't owe anybody anything, and especially in the relationships, they should be open. Early
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
Yeah.
like and then I don't know if this is why, but I feel like I don't think Sade even likes the guy that she was with, Keith. I
Yeah.
don't even think she likes him. I think she just doesn't wanna be downside because there was a option where Keith went downside and she could have chosen to go and stay with him, but she chose to, like, stay with someone else who she didn't really know or, wasn't interested in because she's like, I'm not supposed to be down there. I'm supposed to be up here." So yeah, I was like, "Ugh, ugh."
Yeah, and that's kinda where I was hoping for some other element. One of the advantages or things that I like about Love Island, comparing the 2, is that there's the crowd interaction, so you have the potential to get voted off for any reason. And so, people are on this show to find love. So anytime you do something that signals you're not there for love or you're not moving with the interest of love, you run the risk of getting voted off. And so I think maybe in the next season, that's something that they can tweak so that everybody's focused on building relationships and getting to know each other.
Yeah, because it very much just seems like I don't wanna be cabin crew. I wanna be
Yeah. She's
mixed
like, I'm on
every
this trip. And I'm like, love overboard. Love.
Right, right. I'm like, "Girl, what are you doing?"
Right.
Um, yeah, I felt like it was, like, a huge overreaction, and that's saying a lot considering how dramatic Bella is, like, Sade's really overreacted in that instance, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Our opinion.
in our opinion.
Right.
Uh, um So the last episode that we watched, Gia and Bo were both downsiders and they hit it off really early and they seemed to be really, really into each other. And then Tim comes along and he's in a relationship or he's in a couple, not relationship. He's in a couple with someone else, Enna, I want to say, who's beautiful. Um, and so is Gia. And he starts pursuing Gia. And that ends with them being in a triangle where Gia has to choose between Bo and um and Tim. Do you think she made the right choice?
No. I don't think so. Yeah, I just because Bo seems so loyal to her. Um, and I think it was maybe the case of if you show that you like somebody too much, then it's too easy and there's no challenge, nothing's exciting, and there's no room to grow. And I
Yeah.
think Bo just made it too easy for her. I think if he had of perhaps showed interest in somebody else, then she would have valued uh, who he was a bit more. Yeah, I think he early days, you can't be locked in on one person from the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah,
And
and if he didn't do
even if
that.
you are, you can't tell them that.
Right,
He was just like,
right,
"There's no one else here that I wanna look at all, and it's me and you," and like
and that's reflective of relationships in life. You cannot from day 1 be like, "You know what? I think you're the person. It's us.
right,
We're getting married,
right.
2
It's
kids.
pretty
2
much.
years from now, I've got the date set."
Right.
Dude, it's been 1 month.
Right, right, right.
It's early days, early
Early
days.
days. I also think it was a bad decision because not only was Bo a good guy who seemed to really like her, but
Yeah.
Tim is giving me hardcore fuckboy vibes.
Yeah.
Like, hardcore. There was something that he said to her, like, right at the end of the episode where he's like, "I promise I'm not gonna hurt you." And I was like, "Okay, you know he
Seems
is."
like
Well,
you're
now
going
you
out of
know
your
he
right.
is. There's no way
Seems
that
like
he's
you're
not.
going out of your way to hide who you are.
Right. I'm like, and I know he's the one who says he's like a former fuckboy, but maybe he just can't shake his
Right.
tendencies, but I was just like, something doesn't feel great about him. So I'm
Yeah,
curious to see if my prediction pans out for him in later episodes.
right. Former until
Uh,
he got onto a reality TV dating show, now he's reformed. Okay.
yes, of course. That's what it is. Being on
Right.
reality television is a great place to to work
Change
on
it.
yourself.
Right.
So we are 3 episodes in, and so who are you rooting for? Are there any couples that you're actually rooting for or individuals?
I would like to say I'm rooting for everybody black, except I'm not. Sade is not on the list of people that I'm rooting for. I need for her to get into a love triangle and walk the plank. She's not adding anything to the show. I want Bella to find some reason to be in love. I feel like she's trying hard in the show. But Lo and David, I'm
Mhm.
rooting for them. I think they're a cute couple.
I'm rooting for them, but I'm also worried because, this is a thing that we always go through every show. I don't believe that David is a black man that likes black women.
Yeah. He indirectly hinted that maybe she's not his type. Right.
Well, he definitely said he prefers women who've been physically altered, like, he likes
That
fake
was
boobs.
crazy.
Like, he
That was
prefers
crazy.
fake boobs, and her
But maybe
body
she
is
have a
very
natural
natural.
body. Right.
And she's a beautiful girl.
She's very pretty.
Like, I really did, like, in the earlier episodes, I really appreciated, like, their connection,
Yeah.
but in the, like, previews for, like, what's to come, I saw him complaining about how much sex they've been having, and he's yet to have an orgasm.
Yeah. It's a red flag.
So
They're not
but
gonna make it.
but in my head,
Force
I'm like,
feeding. Right.
the reason that is because she doesn't have fake boobs and probably also because she's black. You know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
I
Why
think
even get with
he's not
her?
attracted to her.
Yeah. So, not to draw that out, but why even get with her if he's not physically attracted to her? I didn't even know that that was a possibility that you could have sex with somebody and be a man and not have an orgasm. Like,
You know, things are
yeah.
weird. Yeah.
And
Because I
is
think,
he
like, the
one of
first night they had sex, he was like, "Did you come?" And she was like, "Yeah, like, 3 times."
I was like, "She's lying." No way. She's lying.
But she seems to really be into him,
Yeah, she can put his
so
ego.
I don't know. I don't feel great about them as a couple. I do like, um I like James and
Yes.
what's Lexi, is that her name? That he's
Lexi.
with? I
Yeah.
like them as a couple. I think they're really cute. I like James like you do because he kinda puts his foot in his mouth, but he does seem to be, like, earnest, right? Like, he seems to, like, not be a fuckboy, and I could be wrong, but he seems to not be a fuckboy, and so I am enjoying watching their little relationship. She chose to go below deck with her boo, and they are sleeping together in a twin bunk bed. But, like, if that's not love, I don't
Right.
know, but 'cause I would be like Sade, I'd be like, "I'll catch you upstairs."
Be like, "Romance without finance on the bottom is
Right,
not for me."
right, 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 period.
Not used to that life. I'll bring you up. I will.
Um, so I guess what are you hoping or expecting to see out of the next episodes?
I don't know. I'm hoping the show to like shake things up. I want the people at the bottom to get a legitimate chance to come to the top. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah, and I do like the shipwreckers who are, like, their version of, like, a bombshell, like, coming in, um 'cause that shakes things up a little bit, but we'll see how that pans out. I'm rooting for David and Lo. I don't think it's gonna happen. Um, and I'm rooting for James and Lexi, and I want Sade to go home, and I want Bella to find a match. Okay. That's all I have a lot of requests.
So what do you think about the casting for this? So we always talk about our now that we have like black women on the show, I think we've got 4 black women, which is a decent amount. Um I feel like we have, like, blackish men. Do we have any men that actually truly are, like, hardcore attracted to black women? I can't say yes for sure.
I have not picked up on.
Right. So, for me, that's also something that's missing from the show. I'd say the biggest plus for the show is Gabby. She's a great host.
Yeah,
She's got a lot of
very
clips.
funny. She's
Yeah.
very funny. Yeah.
Casting, I feel like, is make or break.
Hopefully, with these shipwreckers, it'll get a little better for our black girls, because I just feel like they're just always set up to fail, and it sucks. Speaking of, we have our one black couple that's on Temptation Island. Season
Yeah.
2, premiered, and so we've only watched the first episode so far because, you know, Autumn's been traveling, I've been trying to find a job, and so, like, you know, we got through what we could get through. But I guess what are your impressions of the couples who came to the show?
Alright. So Jack and Cheyenne, they're the couple that have been together for 5 years. I think they're around 25. They got together when they were 20, and there's infidelity in their past. I think that they're trying to hold on to a relationship only because of time spent in their past together. So to me, that's a red flag, especially the way that the infidelity went down. So Jack cheated. He never said anything about cheated. Cheyenne saw the hickey and then went digging through the things, and still there was no truth anywhere along the way. And for like the last 2 years, there's been mistrust within the relationship. So I'm like, "Ugh, this is a red flag. You guys are here, but there's no foundation of them being on good ground." Um, so they're an interesting couple to me. I don't think that they're going to make it. Um, there's another couple, black folks, Mike and Sydney. They're really cute. They knew each other in college, but Mike was hooking up with not one but two, like all the girls in college and Sydney, and she didn't know it at the time. And even though they've been together for a year and a half, they don't have any trust in their relationship. On Sydney's end, life is good for Mike. So I don't know, I'm just thinking from previous shows that I don't have a lot of faith in Mike in this to start. Um, I would say the couple that I think has the best shot is Cole and Scarlett, and it just seems like they're in sync with everything. They've been together for 2 years, and it's like they work together, they seem to actually be friends and, have a life that, like, revolves around each other.
Yeah, I agree. They seem to be locked in, and I love that for them. Our 4 couples out of our 4 couples, they're the ones who are the most in. For me, what you said about Jack and Cheyenne, I feel like could just be, like, copy pasted for the rest of them. Like, I feel like everybody's there because somebody cheated. Well, the guys, and every time, the guys. Um, everybody's there because the guy treated. The woman either forgave them or they broke up and took them back, but they still haven't, um allowed themselves to move on. And my thing is like, I don't think there's anything wrong with staying with someone who has cheated on you, but
Mhm.
I think that if you do make that decision, you have to leave it in the past. You can't bring that up every time that you guys have a disagreement. Um,
Yeah,
or have it color the rest of your relationship going forward.
yeah,
Um, and that seems to be what's happening in all of the cases.
it does. That seems miserable
Yeah.
for both people. For the person who cheated because it doesn't matter what they do, going to be a bad person. Yeah. And the person who got cheated on, they're just always paranoid, like, they seem overbearing, they're constantly, like, peeking in, checking, "Where are you going? What are you doing?" And you know what? People can do that their whole relationship. They can do that for years, for decades, feeling like that.
Mm,
For me personally, I just feel like that's no way to live, like
no.
constant anxiety. No.
Yeah.
Who has time? Who has energy to be thinking about, you know, "What is this man doing?" Uh, Hopefully living
Yeah.
his life, like
Right. Right. But that kind of brings me to last season, unfortunately, again, it was I know you didn't watch season 1, did you?
I did.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
unfortunately, again, it was a Black couple where the Black guy was the worst.
it was horrible.
Cheated on her, had a full-on threesome, and
Yeah,
then told her he said the reason that he wasn't ready to commit was because she wasn't sexually adventurous, and specifically said she doesn't wanna have threesomes. So then he goes and he has his threesome and breaks her heart, but then is like, "But it's out of now I know, like, I did it. It's done. I only wanna be with you." I feel like I read online that they broke up pretty shortly, like, they stayed together at the end of that, but they broke
yeah,
up pretty shortly after.
it was
Um,
embarrassing for her
yeah,
to
and
take him back.
yes, that was she was very delusional, I would say.
Yeah,
But anyway, we tangent. But
yeah.
I say that to
Season
say
2.
it
Right.
looks like the Black guy, because of course, 4 couples, 1 Black
Yeah.
couple. Again, it looks like the Black guy is gonna be the one who's the problem. I think I am predicting him being the villain of the season. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, I kinda thought the same thing, and then, seemed like the other girls were attracted to him, and I'm just like, "Oh, this isn't gonna end well." I don't know if he's the type of guy who can control himself, you know?
And he has, like, a really big personality, so I think that 'cause I
Yeah.
personally don't think he's super cute.
He's
So,
not.
like, he's just average. I'm like, "Okay, bro." But, like,
Yeah.
I don't remember if they said where they're from. You know how sometimes it's like, "They're the
Yeah,
cutest person in my town."
right.
Um,
I think they were from somewhere in the South, so I don't know if it was Atlanta or, like, South Carolina, North Carolina, but that region. Oh, no worries. Yep. I saw he was an alpha, so I'm sure, like, in college, he was, like, that guy, you know? But I'm like, "Oh, what about the real world?"
right, right,
Different scale, especially compared to the men that they brought in.
right, right. Yes. I know at the end of, episode 1, uh, Mike's girlfriend, Sydney, goes on a date with Xavier, and Xavier is fine.
So fun. I was
He's
like,
probably, like, the most attractive man I've seen on a reality dating show in a really long time.
yes. When I looked at him, I was like, they need more of that
More of
on
that,
TV. When I
more
looked
p
at him, I was like, chocolate. Yes.
mhm,
Yes.
mhm, and a black man who likes black women. We
Right.
stand that, we stand that.
Yeah, I do think Xavier's probably one of the best guys that I've seen casted in a while.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I say all that to say is, in the preview of what's gonna happen later on in the season, we are seeing bonfire footage, at their after spending some time apart, the girls will go and watch clips at a bonfire of what their boyfriends have been up to, and then vice versa, and um we see Mike say, "I'm gonna be selfish and I'm gonna shoot my shot." And then we see her say, "But well, he did what he's gonna do, so Imma do what I'm gonna do." I'm like, "Lord, what is happening with these 2?"
Drama,
Yeah,
drama.
so they're gonna be interesting. Um, yeah, they're definitely gonna be interesting to watch unfold the rest of the season. Um, I laughed really hard at 2 things at the end of the episode. One was Mike crying. Basically, he has a big personality and he masks his emotions with humor, right? And with his big personality, he's overcompensating for he's probably insecure because as soon as they were picking dates, like as soon as he saw that Sydney was going out with Xavier, everything changed. His
I would be
whole
crying
identity
too.
changed.
Like,
Huh?
I said I would be crying too. I was like, "Look at Xavier. Look at Mike. Look at Xavier.
Right.
Look back at Mike.
Right.
This isn't gonna end well for you."
At least it shouldn't.
Right. I'm
So,
like,
yeah,
"Come
I
on,
thought that
Sydney.
that
Do
was
you see
funny.
this man?"
Right. But for him to be like, "I'm biting my tongue, I'm unbothered, I'm cracking
Right.
jokes," and then to get in front of, like, the camera one-on-one and, like, start boohooing, I'm like, "Sir."
Yeah.
Um, and then I think the other thing that made me laugh really hard in the preview of, like, what's gonna happen for the rest of the season was Summit, because one of the guys' name is Summit for some reason. Um, Summit, so there's a point in time where they get to go and visit each other's villa.
Yeah.
And they just get to, like, no one's there, they get to snoop around and, because 'cause they're, like, pictures and journals and whatever. You could see if your boyfriend has, like if there's girl stuff in his room, like, "Has someone been staying here?"
Right. Are
Um
there hairs on the bed?
Right, right. And, like, was it Room Raiders come out with the black light, like
Oh, yeah.
but so first of all, we see Summit on a cell phone, which was surprising to me, but he's called his mom. I'm pretty
Wow.
sure he called his mommy, and I'm like, "How did you get a phone, number 1? And then number 2,
Your
you really
mom.
call your mom crying because you don't like what you saw in your girlfriend's room, that you brought her here? Because I don't think there were any instance in which it was the girl's idea."
I don't think so.
Yeah. Um, I guess what are your other hopes, predictions for what happens in the future on this one?
Yeah. So one thing that I'll highlight is the host, Mark Wahlberg, is
Yep.
it? He's good.
Yeah. He's been
Yeah.
hosting forever.
Yeah. And I'm like, does he have some sort of like psychology or counseling degree? Like he's on it.
Yes.
Um, I hope that the girls don't get walked all over because I feel like every show the men just wow out from day one and the girls like cry and they miss the men and then they're not taking advantage of the opportunity in front of them. Yeah, so my hopes are from day one, the girls are open to experiencing the environment that they're in and the men that they're
Yeah.
in.
I hope that as well. They get the most out of the experience.
Yeah, yeah. Um, my prediction is somebody will cheat right away.
Yeah. My prediction is they're all going to break up, which leads me to if you were in a relationship with someone and it was a rocky relationship and you had to go on one show or the other. You had to go on Temptation Island to save your
Yeah.
relationship, or you had to go on the ultimatum to save your relationship. Like, which one of those is the worst option in your mind?
Temptation Island,
Okay.
100%.
Mhm.
Um, because it's just like one big party and, there's a lot of alcohol involved and I don't know, like, the consequences are severe, and it seems like people are just hanging out and having fun versus on the ultimatum, they're actually challenged to grow and experience what does it mean to be, like, a good partner, and they have opportunities to actually work on themselves, like, they're getting feedback on, "Oh, this is how I'm treating you in this relationship, and you're not my partner, you're a different person," giving me feedback on what it's like to be with me.
Right.
Yeah, I think Ultimatum, if you're actually serious about making it work, is a better show to go on.
I'm torn because I agree with everything you said, but I also worry or consider the emotional aspect of spending because they in the ultimatum, they live together.
Yeah. Sometimes they sleep in the same bed.
And they don't always, they don't have to, but
Yeah.
there's one bed. Mm, and so that not only creates, opportunity for, like, physical intimacy, but it also creates opportunity for emotional intimacy because they're spending so much time together. So, yeah, I'm torn on which one I think is worse, but I think if you're in a relationship and someone asks you to go on either one of them, you should just hang it up at that point.
Yeah, if you're on the ultimatum and somebody's giving you an ultimatum, then it's like, y'all aren't on the same page. Who's ever given the ultimatum, they just need to walk away. Don't give the ultimatum. You're
Serious.
unhappy. The person's not meeting your needs. Leave.
Exactly, exactly.
Don't be
Period.
like, oh, if you don't do this, I'll leave. No, just leave. Don't
Just
make
leave.
any threats. Just leave.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Don't
because you
especially
can't
don't
change
right,
people. People
that
are gonna
you
do what they wanna do.
yeah,
If they wanna
exactly,
see
like
them do it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be fun watching the rest of this season, as well as the rest of Love Overboard, so I'm excited about those. Um, how have you been living your best soft life? Because here at the Single Standard, we are all about living our best soft lives, you know, not no stress. So how has that been for you?
Yeah, so, I don't know, I guess I saw this video the other day where they were talking about, "I'm the baby," "The baby that I'm supposed to have, it's me." Like, "I'm taking care of me." And I really am. I've been doing that by focusing on my sleep. I got the Aura Ring, and I'm obsessed with it. I
Yeah,
am it's
I've heard good
I
things.
Yeah, like, I check it every day and I'm like, "Am I restored?" "What's my sleep like? Am I ready for the day?" But no, it's really cool because it will let you know, like, not every day is a 90. Some days you might have 50 and you need to adjust for that. So yeah, I'm living my soft life by making sure I'm restored and using tools that are available out there to help me. Because when you're in the gym, it doesn't matter if you're not getting restoration. Like it's a waste of time if you're not sleeping. Yeah. So I'm trying to let everything balance out.
Good. And I also heard you can use, like, HSA and FSA money to buy those, so I should
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's worth it. It'll tell you if your body's stressed.
Mhm.
Um Good way to track what's happening with your period. I know some people don't want, that being captured data
Right,
that's available,
right.
but, also, I know everything that's happening with my body, and it's pretty helpful.
Yeah, I have to look into it. I think my soft life moment is a lot has happened in the in the work world for me. So, in my search for a new job, I decided that what I was going to do is become an independent journalist, contract, and freelance full time, which is a little scary for me. But that said, I created an LLC, so I technically have a business now. and I signed my first contract, for a job that I'm hopeful it's for 3 months, but it was for 3 months at my suggestion. So, yeah, so sign a contract, I will be starting this week, and
Yay!
I am very excited about it. Um it's a Georgia politics online with the newsletter component and social media,
It's right up
component.
your alley.
Yeah,
Like, all the things. Who else would they hire?
right,
There's
right.
not a better person. Yeah.
And and also, I'm in charge.
Of course
So
you're in charge. Who
so
else? Again, there's not a better person.
so my title is editorial director and chief operations officer, which is wild, but yeah, so we're
Is
gonna
it
lean into
wild or
that.
is it just expected?
It's just expected, you're right, you're right. So and then also because of that job, my real like, that's my happy life moment, I guess, but that leads to my soft life moment is that I had to buy a laptop. And I know that doesn't sound like a soft life thing, but I haven't owned my own laptop in more than a decade. And so I went for it and I got my first MacBook that I purchased. Like I've had work MacBook before. This is my first personal MacBook and it's so pretty and I love it and it makes me so happy. And so I've been enjoying learning again how to use a Mac after several years of being on PCs. But yeah, that is something that made me feel soft.
Yes, invest in yourself, and that's, like, a legitimate investment in you.
Yeah. So coming up, lots going on. So more Love Overboard, more Temptation Island, but also this week, Beyond the Villa season 2 is back.
I'm ready.
So we're gonna see what's going on with all of our, B characters from season 7 of not the leads, the supporting cast from, season 7 of Love Island, and I'm interested to see how that pans out for because I feel like they were filming in the winter, so, yeah, that comes out, and I wonder how many episodes it's gonna be, but I think they're releasing 2 episodes this week, so we will be watching and we will be recapping those.
I'm hoping for some, Joanna and Jeremiah action. I
Yes,
stand them. I feel like
I know.
I'm shipping them.
They're best friends. That's what
Right.
they
With benefits and titles that we don't know about yet.
we'll see how it all pans out. Um, oh, that does bring me to another soft life moment because it has been a little while. Um, I saw Alandria.
What? Do tell.
Um, I went to Miami, to go to a DJ's set of Nick's that was on his actual birthday. Because my friend has a place down there who lives in Atlanta. She says, "I'm gonna go because I think there's a pretty good chance Alandria will be there. It's his birthday. She'll probably be there." And I'm like, "You know what? You're right." So I went down and um my friend Janita, she bought like a section and we were like essentially on the stage with the DJ booth, like right next to it. So like if I wanted to, we wouldn't. None of us would do that because we were all the aunties and we're respectful. But if I wanted to, I could have like reached out and just like tapped Alandria and been like, "Hey girl." So
That's
like
cool.
that was and she was just so I think she was a little overstimulated because they'd been partying pretty much for 24 hours at that point, for because it was Nick's 25th birthday, and I know I went hard on my 25th, so, like, I get that. So she wasn't as, like, interactive and stuff with the crowd as I had hoped she would be. I also was not sober, and so that probably had a bit to do with my experience, why my experience wasn't as great as I wanted it to be because I couldn't focus. Um, but I did spend a lot of time talking to Max and telling Max that we should be friends because we both live in Atlanta, which is ridiculous. I know he's like, "Okay, old lady, yes, I will take the tequila." Well, so that is this week's episode. Where can folks find you on social media?
You can find me at TikTok and Instagram, Autumn with the E, Elizabeth. Where can folks find you?
You can find me at Maya T Prabhu on TikTok and Instagram, and you can find us at the dot single dot standard on TikTok and Instagram. We are also on YouTube. So check us out there if you want to see our beautiful smiling faces and not just listen to us. That's it for this week. Dating shows might get the spotlight.
But here we set the standard.